All right, we have another Marvel Disney Plus show. Is it any good or is it going to be as bad as Secret Invasion? Gosh, I hope not. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Just My Opinion for my Agatha All Along review. And this is just for the first 4 episodes. And if you happen to like this video, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Guys, if you are familiar with my channel, you already know this, but if this is your first time finding me, I am a huge MCU Marvel Cinematic Universe fan. I have seen all of the movies, I have seen all of the Disney Plus shows, and overall, it is a pretty damn good franchise. They do have more wins than losses. So when the announcement was first made that this show was coming out, I was like, okay, it's linked to WandaVision. I did like that show. Maybe I'm gonna like this. I do like Kathryn Hahn and her character in the MCU, so I went into this feeling pretty optimistic. But however, with the Disney Plus shows, as of late, they haven't been the best. They did knock it out of the park with X-Men 97 by creator Bo DeMayo, and I also did like Loki seasons 1 and 2. And with this Agatha All Along show kind of linked to that, my expectations are a bit more than average, or a bit more than mediocre. Now, this was written and produced by Jake Schaefer. They were responsible for WandaVision as well, if we just scroll down and look at their filmography. So they are familiar with the project. I did not want to get too excited about it because things have started out great with the Marvel Disney Plus shows and then ended in a disaster, just like they did with Secret Invasion. But before I get into all the nitty gritty, before I talk about all my likes and dislikes, let me tell you exactly what this show, Agatha All Along, is all about. A spellbound Agatha Harkness regains freedom thanks to a teen's help. Intrigued by his plea, she embarks on the witch's road trials to reclaim her powers and discover the teen's motivations. Now, I will say that one criticism that the general audience has had about the MCU is it feels that you have to watch every Marvel show and every Marvel movie to understand what's going on. I'm glad to say that that is not the case slightly in this show, Agatha All Along on Disney Plus. Now, of course, it will help if you've seen Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness or the WandaVision series, which are both available on Disney Plus right now. But with me seeing everything that they've had to offer out so far, I'm even saying to myself that you really don't need to see those other titles to have a full understanding of what's going on in this show. I will just say it may help to know that Agatha once had powers and she does not have powers anymore. And we're picking up in this story and where at that point left off the last time. Another great thing that I like about this series so far in these first 4 episodes is while it does fit into the MCU, it also feels like its own pocket universe, not connected to anything. Already in these first 4 episodes, I can understand that the films will affect the Marvel Disney Plus shows, but the Disney Plus shows won't affect the films. And I like that for continuity, and also you don't feel the burden that you have to see every episode and every TV show to understand the next chapter in the MCU. But one of the best things that I like about the show so far is the mystery. You have no idea what's going on, even if you've seen everything that came out in the MCU in the past 3 times each. The way they just kind of throw you into this new world that you've never seen or experienced before does kind of get you at the edge of your seats like, okay, wait a minute, what's going on? I got to figure this out. Where are all the Easter eggs? And there is one large Easter egg that is dropped in episode 2 that is going to make a lot of fans happy because they actually came out and admitted it verbally. And this is the first time. It has been speculated for years now, like, when are we going to get this character? When are they going to pop up? Did I see them in the backdrop right there behind the leaf on the other side of the tree while the sun is highest in the sky being noon? That is finally dropped in the show, and it did get me smiling, and I was just saying to myself, I can't wait to see that character actually pop off into fruition. And I love how the show gets into the stereotype of what the general public perceives a witch to be, whether there's green skin, a pointy black hat, or riding around on a broom or having a long pointy nose. that is addressed. If you were to Google witch, I'm pretty sure those images would come up and populate your screen. And I like the way they tackle all those assumptions that many people will have. And another thing that I like about the cast is when it comes to the witches, they spread it across the races and or ethnicities. Being called or labeled a witch can be a very negative thing that can lead to someone's death. And that did happen hundreds of years ago. They're just not looked at in the best light. So you don't want to have a stereotype on one group of people like, all witches look white, all witches are black, all witches are Asian, all witches are brown, or anything like that. If it has a negative connotation to it, some people may not notice this, but there was like a witch in every race, or at least more than two. And that's just something I did appreciate if you wanted to diversify things without it seeming forced, or the popular term that so many people are using, woke, and that really is annoying. It didn't feel that way. It felt natural and organic. Now, this is being described as a dark fantasy, supernatural fantasy, action, and adventure. So far, I really can't sense the action part, but the adventure, definitely. That's getting a 10 out of 10 so far. While this is connected to magic, it's still something in the MCU that we've never seen before, and there's a lot of questions that has to get answered. And I also just like the way that characters have to transport themselves from one place to another. In the world of Doctor Strange, he has a sling ring and can open up a portal and go wherever he wants. This has to deal with magic too, but they travel in a completely different way. And again, it's something that we've never seen before in the MCU. And also, you would think that with magic, there will be a bunch of energy projections and key blasts and characters floating around and flying, throwing all types of projectiles. There's nothing like that in this show. It has to deal with more of spells and potions and remedies and antidotes and things like that. And it's just something new that I do appreciate that we've never seen before. So this whole show just seems fresh. And while I did say dark fantasy, supernatural fantasy, action, and adventure, I did not mention comedy. And I guess if I would have clicked the arrow, it would have showed me because it says comedy, drama, fantasy, and science fiction. I say all that to say is it's funny too. I did laugh at a few, and it wasn't even jokes actually. It was just real life moments seeing people react to everyday life. And it was funny to me because things that are true happen to be funny. And when you can relate to them, it makes it even funnier. And there were just a number of mishaps going on between the characters in this show that did make me smile from ear to ear. I pretty much liked all the characters as well, except for one, and that was a perceived antagonist. But every character had a value in this show and had something to offer for the greater good, or for these characters to come out on top and leave the poor situation that they started out in, potentially in episode 1. There was a good sense of teamwork, a good sense of bonding, and women empowerment. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but it worked too. In Avengers Endgame, that women's empowerment move was just really forced, but I did not feel that way at all. Not one iota in the show. It was great. And the MCU can be very guilty of combining comedic moments or jokes during serious moments, but they were able to do that in this show quite well. While it was light, fun, and comical at points, they also had tons of horrific images and scenes as well. Like, some of these characters are really being haunted and tortured in this show, and it really does boost up the quality of the show when all of these plot points are matched with great acting from all the characters, and that is the case across the board. They are really going through some things mentally, and these demons per se are really taking full advantage of that. And this kind of makes me think like, man, what is all going on behind the scenes in the MCU, in the multiverse, that we can't see in this 3D world that we live in? What is going on in these other dimensions with all these spirits? It really does get me excited and wanting to dive back into the MCU to worlds we haven't explored before. Also, other events that happened in the past with WandaVision and these main characters that you may not have liked, I kind of think they're kind of retconning the bad decision that was made and revamping it, rebooting it in this show too. And I like that. I don't want to write that in concrete or with a Sharpie, but it's headed in that direction, and that's great too. I mean, there's just so much to like in this show. Now, I don't want to say that the show is amazing and this is the best thing ever since sliced bread. I don't want to go that far, but I am enjoying myself. And I will admit the first 2 episodes were a bit slow, and I did like episodes 3 and 4 much better. At the end of episode 1, I was saying to myself, okay, it really didn't grab me, but we're going to see where this goes. And each episode got better and better and better. I'm still not going to get my expectations too high because, again, Secret Invasion started out great with the first 2 episodes. It had a total of 6, and it was the worst thing ever, worse than poop. And I think that Agatha All Along has 8 episodes, and I was able to see 4, but I don't know what the rest are going to do. So it could end up being great. It could end up sucking, but so far, at the very least, it's decent. Okay, I really can't complain. If you want something different that you've never seen before in the MCU, this is for you. There's great sets. Pretty much everything is practical. It just felt really real and like there was actually there on location. There are stakes. Some of the characters may die and you don't know where it's coming from. And I also have to say, I cannot believe this, but for the first time, and more than one occasion, all of the actors, actresses on set got together and performed multiple songs. Like they were recording artists, and it was good. It helped the show, and it wasn't just random like some musical. It was a part of the story. It was a part of the plot. It made those episodes better. So far, it's pretty good. Again, it's not the best thing ever. I mean, I'm not just blown away, but I'm entertained, and I'm at the very least interested to see what happens next. So I will recommend this. If you have a Disney Plus subscription, I'll say go ahead and give it a try, because so far out the gates, we're starting out pretty good. Also, guys, check out the latest episode I have on my channel for Super Duper, where we talk nothing but superhero and comic book news. And since this is also superhero and comic book stuff, I will also be discussing The Penguin on my channel that is launching on HBO Max as well. I'm not going to give a rating on the first 4 episodes. I may do that at the end when we get the final episode, but for now, it's positive. It's 2 thumbs up. I said go ahead and check it out. But guys, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that I'm B. Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace, and I'll see you next time.